Welcome to the Adult Amateurs Guidebook podcast, where we dive into the world of adult amateur equestrians, talking about everything from riding woes to feeding regimens to horse show days. Get ready for the real and authentic conversations about the challenges and joys of being an adult amateur and trying to live out our horse girl dreams. Let's tack up, grab a glass of wine, and ride into the world of the adult amateur. Welcome to Adult Amateurs Guidebook.
Welcome to Adult Amateurs Guidebook.
Yes.
With Kelly and Alexis. I am Alexis.
I'm Kelly.
And we are here today to talk about, let's just dive, literally.
Let's get into it.
Dive right in.
This is going to be a topic that is going to change the way
hot.
that you guys think of us.
Hot topic. Or maybe the way our husbands think of us.
Or maybe the way if we should be married or not. You guys let us know.
Yeah. Is there a reason that?
Honestly, why does anybody get married anyway?
Oh my God. That's
Hitting.
Dark, okay?
Hitting.
Don't be so dark.
Hitting.
Instead of work-life balance, you hear that a lot when you're in the corporate world or really anywhere, work-life balance. Let's talk about barn life balance, which is that is, I don't know why that hasn't been coined as a phrase, and be my husband's favorite topic.
I just want you guys to know this episode is going to be mostly about Alexis.
I don't know if any other adult amateurs out there have, loving husbands that love the animals, they love the horses, he loves them, but he would prefer I found a balance. And this topic is not about him. It is about me and my lack of boundaries in my time management skills and being at the barn for 8 hours every day.
All right. So this is going to be from my perspective first. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So when Alexis goes to the barn.
Oh, it's about me?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is my perspective.
This is therapy.
Yeah. So this is my perspective of when Alexis goes to the barn. When Alexis goes to the barn, now granted, she works, she's a nurse practitioner. So she works in the NICU. She has crazy hours. So anybody that works in a hospital, you guys know, when you're on, you're on. When you're off, you're off. So you have crazy, you can be on the weekend, weekday, holidays, whatever. So when Alexis goes to the barn, she usually is there by 10 a.m., and then all of a sudden, it's 6 p.m. and she's still there. Now,
she follows my location, so this girl knows.
Yeah, so we have each other's location, and I'm like, what the hell is this girl? What? I really genuinely, what do you even do there? How does the time just slip away from you so easily?
Stephen would like to know the same thing. And I don't know. I literally don't know, but I just love it so much. It's when I'm at work, I'm responsible for lives. Things are crazy. And so when I am off, it is me time, which is not fair because my sweet husband deserves husband time too.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's during the week, he has a normal 9 to 5, Monday through Friday job. Yeah. So I go to the barn, as if it's my job, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5.
You disappear in the barn.
Yeah.
Never to be heard of again. She doesn't have her phone.
No.
She doesn't know where her phone is.
No.
It's somewhere. Could be in the dirt somewhere. Who knows? But
it's probably, I don't know.
It's she just disappears. So if any of you have this mental illness, please let me know.
Please comment because I need to know if there's other people like me, okay? Because my husband thinks that it's just me.
Now, it's funny because any horse girl spends a ton of time at the barn, right? Horses, and some days you're really into it and you're oh my God, it takes me so long just to even get the animal out of the pasture, tack him up.
Winter's the worst.
Do the whole thing. And you're Jesus, you just know it's this big process. Yeah. Because then you get into it and then you're well, then I've got to wrap him, and then I've got to scrub his legs, and then I've got to do this, and then I've got to give him a massage, and then he's got to do this. So
those are all the excuses. They're not excuses because that's actually what I'm doing, but that is what I tell my husband. He's how long can you be at the barn brushing a horse?
Yeah.
And I'm you don't understand. I get to the barn. If it's winter, they're outside. Chocolate runs away from you.
Chocolate does run away from you.
He's in a pasture alone because
he does love his auntie though.
He does, but like he sees me. If you're in riding clothes, he knows you're going to get him and ride him, so he runs away. So that's like 30 minutes of chasing his ass around till you decide to finally give him food. Don't think the treats will work because they don't. He'll grab it out of your hand and then run away. So anyways, there's that. So it's like that takes me time, and then it's winter. I like him to be properly warmed up. So if I'm going to have a lesson, I have his back on track wraps on.
This is like Alexis confessional.
Yeah. His quick wraps on. I want his legs to be nice and warm before I get on. And then I tack him up and put wrap like either polo or like my splint boots on or whatever.
Yeah.
And then, I've got to walk for a while.
She's got to be on at least minimum 15 minutes before the lesson starts. Like,
you can't just like cold turkey. He has to be warm.
So now she obviously, you guys don't know this, but she has a lot of PTSD from her sweet horse Bugsy, who was injured for a long time and injured, not injured, injured, not injured. So she's rehabbed like a ton. So I think she's always been like a little bit gun shy, a little bit scared.
Yes.
But literally every time we lesson, it's like she's got to be on. She's walking what seems like an eternity.
At least 2 laps each direction in the winter.
Yeah.
Before I will even try.
Oh, yeah. But that's like being generous. It's really like you're walking around on a loose rein, just chilling, vibing for a minute.
A while, yeah.
But anyways, so
the process is long.
Yeah.
That's to say the least. The process is really long. Riding takes a long time. Caring for them takes a long time. I'm at the barn for 8 hours a day sometimes because I love them. Mm-hmm. I have 3 of them.
Yeah, you do have a lot of them.
And I may not ride all 3 of them, but I have to I don't know. It's maybe just an excuse, but I like to see them and be with them. And then I like to watch people ride. I also have that watch disease. I like to watch.
It's definitely a thing. I have the watch disease too. And I've always had it. It's kind of it's just all about the community, I think, at the end of the day.
They're my friends.
Yeah. I mean, it's really so much about community. And it's all about your barn experience, right? Yeah. There's nothing better than summer days where you're just you lesson early and then you just go clean your horse off really quick because your friends are lessoning after you. And so you go clean your horse off and then you go graze and watch your friends for 2.5 hours.
Another hour of them listening. And then you guys all go to lunch and you all talk and whatever.
Yeah,
and then
it's just such a community and it's all about I totally understand. Now, what does that mean in terms of relationships outside of the barn?
It's so hard.
Whether that's, and I think too, across the board, it's so interesting that as an adult now, I feel like every person in my life has some connection to horses.
Yeah.
It's even in work, even in my business, the only person that really isn't is Josh, who's my videographer, who I've forced him to do it.
He has been to a horse show.
Yeah. And really nice horse show.
Yeah. They went to Upperville and he may or may not wanted to end his life, but
yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah. He definitely, has powered through it. But every connection that it seems to I have in my life, because I think it is such a you've got to understand it. If you're going to be involved in my life, you've got to understand that I have a commitment to these.
It's so unique.
Yeah, it's so unique. And so if you don't get it, if you have people that are outside of your life that just don't understand it, it's hard to be friends with them because I know you've struggled with that and I've struggled with it where you have people who are not in the horse community, in the horse world, and they're what's the deal? Why can't you do this? Why can't you go travel? Why can't you go spend time with us? I'm well, I have to horse show and I have to be up at 6 a.m.
I can't come out and drink with you guys the night before. Yeah. I've got to go.
Yeah,
my first class is at 8 a.m. the next morning.
Yeah,
and I care enough. I want to win, or I want to try.
I wanted, I've done all of this back end work with this partner that I have, this 4-legged partner, and I'm dedicated to seeing that through. And Like, is it bright and sunny and cheery every time you wake up at 6 a.m. and for a horse show? No. But man, when you come out of the ring and you've done really well, you're like, that was so worth it. You know? So I think having people in your life that like really understand that, and husbands, I think it's just if you have a husband that is not in the horse world, which I see some of these adult amateurs or women in the horse community that have husbands that are in.
Oh my
horses.
God, they're so cute. They hold their horses at the ring for them. And like, I mean, no shade on my husband.
Do you remember that cute couple we saw at Tip?
Yes.
And I was like, that is the dream. He
was like holding them. Like,
she had 2 horses. She was like tacking one up. He was holding one.
It was so cute.
And I'm like, dang.
I know.
That is amazing. Now, like, I'll get my husband on my horse sometimes. You know, it's like pulling teeth sometimes, but
yeah, I have not experienced that.
Yeah, it's like it's a very rare thing. Now, we did have Old Man, that was his horse, and you know, the whole thing. But it was a quarter horse that was an old ex-reiner, and that was my husband's horse, and he loved him.
You have horses in your property, so it's a little bit
totally different, 100% different.
So talking about work-life balance, horse-life balance, we have kind of 2 unique jobs. Mm-hmm. So I work, you know, random shifts every once in a while, or, you know, frequently or whatever, but I come out to the barn when usually nobody's there because everybody normal works Monday through Friday.
Right.
And you know, have your own.
I was too.
You have your own business. Yeah. So you ride when your business allows you to.
Yeah.
So I wonder what it's like, and would be, you know, I see these friends that work Monday through Friday jobs, and I don't know how they have a horse.
I don't know.
Compete, show, whatever, without like losing their minds, because I can't ride if it's too hot. So that's like afternoons are out. I can't ride when it's too cold. So that's like mornings in the winter that are out. So I really do feel for people that work Monday through Friday, like 9 to 5 jobs, and have to fit their horse lives in as far as like the work horse balance.
And then they have to go home and cook dinner, and
they have families.
They get their lives together and do all the things. And you know, I always think it always touches me, and I always think it's really sad. And I don't want to say sad. It's not sad. I think it's like, I just feel a way about it. I don't really know what I feel, but for girls that have, you know, have ridden, guys or girls, whatever, that have experienced, you know, being an equestrian, being, you know, having horses, being in that community, all the things. And then, you know, you grow up and you have to have a real job, and they just fall out of it because there's no time. There's, you know, they have kids, they have a husband, and like, they're like, yeah, you know, like one day I'll get back to it.
Yeah.
And like, you know, that to me is absolutely wild, because I just couldn't imagine my life without this. Mm-hmm. And maybe that's just the sickness. I don't know. But the sickness meaning like the horses, the addiction, sickness. Yeah, the addiction.
Horse addiction.
But, you know, I really think like, it's such a big part of me, and a big part of like, not only it's not my personality, but like, you know, it just fills my life so much.
It fills your cup.
Yeah.
It fills your cup with sunshine.
100%. And so it saddens me, and they're, you know, maybe they're not sad. Maybe they are. I don't know. Because I couldn't imagine like
taking a break.
Well, yeah. Or feeling that way, like where you're like, oh, you know, I really like wish I could get back to that, or like I wish that like I had time for that. And you know, everybody makes choices in their life, and you know, if you choose to work that corporate lifestyle, it's really difficult to have this life, especially if you're going into the office.
Yeah.
Because
we're just 2 very lucky few.
Yeah.
I think that's why I did what I did.
Yeah.
Because I took, you know, so much time off to go to school and get my master's and do all that stuff. And I think that was my time off.
Yeah.
So I could get to a place where I was like, I don't work Monday through Friday. Like,
right.
I am going to get to, you know, go out to the barn. And so I'd love to hear from everybody out there that works a corporate job and still, you know, finds the time to ride and show and travel for shows and stuff
I
like
actually
that.
had a call recently with an adult amateur who she was looking to build a personal brand, and she wanted to get back into riding. She had shown and like been really competitive, like more than either of us have ever really been competitive. But she got out of it because, you know, life and work and things like that. So, you know, she was in her mid-30s and she's getting back into it, and she wanted to help build this personal brand and do sponsorships and stuff. And so I was going to help her do that. And in talking to her, I was like, you know, it's so interesting to hear other people's stories about their life and their horses and their horse career and their work career and how that really affects each other. And then their relationships on top of that. But it's just fascinating to me, you know, because like I said, everybody makes choices. And, you know, I think it's phases in life that you either, it's like something's always going to have to be sacrificed. Yeah. You know, like you can't have it all the time. It just is impossible.
Or you lose your mental health trying to do all that. Because we definitely have friends that are going to fit everything into their day no matter what, including horses, friends, job, husband, whatever. And, you know, you either sacrifice or you lose your mind.
And I think that we've both been there for different, I know like my year last year was like a shit year. Yeah. And I think I was doing, because there's going to be things that are going to be out of your control when you have horses or in life anyway. Yeah. You know, like my horses were sick, my business was shit. Like there was like everything was bad. Like my relationships were bad. Yeah. Like everything, and my mental health was like, I don't even know, like I remember like writing myself letters at the time. Yeah. And I was like, I look back on those letters and I was like, damn, like she is unwell, you know, like she was not well. And I know what you've been through a lot of things, like a lot of times where you're just like, and you're so different too, because you are so much like my husband, where you like become a recluse. Like, you just like shut down and you just stay in your room and like don't talk to anybody. Yeah. And that's when I know it's really bad for you.
It's crazy how I can go from like being at the barn every day on my days off for 8 hours to like when something in my life is shifted in a personal way or a work way or something like that. Like I am like gone. I am like, no more horses, no more barn. Like nobody sees me. And then you're like, that's probably what you're saying. Like, you know, like I'm not good if I'm not going to the barn because the mental side is.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that we both have been through some really, really tough things, and, you know, we deal with it so different. And I think like, it's just, it's really hard when you're dealing with, of course, when anything gets sick or when anything goes wrong, or like if any big catastrophe is going on in your life, it's hard to keep the ball rolling sometimes.
Yes. Like everything's in slow-mo. Stops.
You're just like putting one foot in front of the other seems like such a task. And especially when you're dealing with, you know, really large animals that are, you know, trying to commit suicide every 5 seconds. Yeah. It just feels like you can't catch a break. And then on top of that, you know, if you are married, you know, being married and being a horse girl is like, you know, something that your husbands are just going to have to accept. I mean, there's really like, there is no other way to like put it. Like, and I don't
know if Steve, oh God.
Like, I just don't know like really what else there is, because it's like, you know, like, of course we love our husbands. This is no marital counseling or advice or anything.
I don't know
anything.
I don't know anything.
Don't take advice from us.
No.
But in my experience, like, it just is what it is. Like, yeah, it just is what it is. And I think too, like, I think Steven has come a really long way.
Absolutely.
Like, Steven's come a long way.
It's like, to be fair, it's a little unfair to him to say this, because when we met, I was in grad school, and so I wasn't riding. Like, I had a horse, but he was leased out, and so it was like, and it was COVID. Yeah. And so we lived together, and I was constantly spending time with him, and like, then like COVID, like a veil released, and it was like, the world is back to normal. Yeah. I'm done with grad school, and now I got a big girl job. Yeah. And now I have the money to have another horse. And it was like, literally, Play got slapped in the face with horse all of a sudden, and was like, what did I marry?
You bought a horse and then you bought like another horse. Like
I went from 0 to 60 and he is along for the ride.
He's taken it really, really well.
He's a saint.
Yeah, he's taken it really well. And, you know, of course, just like my husband, you know, it's like, especially when like the two of us get together, it's like, hey, we're going to South Carolina for like 5 days to horse show.
Yeah.
See you later.
Literally. And they're just at home. Like,
yeah.
I think the last time we went, it was good because I think Stephen was also out of town.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like, bye.
See ya. And like, even when we horse show, I mean,
for the weekends.
Yes. You live like, you could walk to like Wills Park and back from your house.
I can, but I'm still not home.
You're never home. And like, same thing with me. Like, I mean, I'm like, oh yeah, you know, like I'm going to try to like come home early.
No.
Never happens.
Like, I don't need to watch every class, even though I don't, but like, I want to be supportive of the barn. And like, I literally get upset. Like, I got upset last time we horse showed because I was showing at the same time that you were, and I didn't get to watch you.
Yeah.
And it's like, I like rushed out of the ring to get to watch you. And I'm like on my horse, like watching from a distance as you're like going around. I'm like, cool. Like, this is, you know, so there's that aspect to horse shows too, where you're like, not only am I either out of town for a horse show or am I like, even if I'm local, like I want to watch all my friends go. The horse shows take forever.
Yeah.
There's no way a husband who's not in the horse world could understand remotely the sit around and wait aspect of a horse show and like the need to support your friends when they're like doing their thing too.
Right.
So,
and I have a hot take.
What does that mean? What's a hot take?
A hot take means like a controversial topic,
Is that like a millennial thing that I don't know about? Or Gen Z or whatever we're not?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
It's like not a new thing.
No.
Okay.
So I have a hot take, and the hot take is that I don't want my husband coming to the horse show.
Not kind of stressful.
I don't
know. I like it.
I mean, the only reason that I don't like it, I think for a variety of reasons. One, we live so far away. So it's like it's not like he can just like casually stop by.
Yeah.
It's like a very, like, it feels like a commitment to me where I'm like, I have to like, okay, you've made this effort to come down here.
Now I have to spend time with you.
Now it's like, I have to dedicate this time when like, I have to take care of the horses. I've got my friends here. Like I've got all these things. And like, I don't mean that to say like, of course, like I love having him there, you know, like, but it just feels like such an obligation.
It's like bringing the bro to like the all girls party kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, you can't really like be your horse show self.
Yeah.
If they're there.
Yeah.
But like, I low key love it, but I only live 5 minutes away. So like he comes, watches, leaves.
Yeah. And leaves. Like no problem.
Yeah.
You know, when we live like 45 minutes away, it's like such like a commitment to come down here. But I mean, you know, it's fine. But he is also still very involved, you know, like he's texting me, FaceTiming me. He's like, did you win? You know, like, so it's not like he's not involved.
No, yeah. He's just not
physically there. So, you know, and I think everybody's like relationships are so different when it comes to like the support that they get with their hobby.
Yeah.
And you know, like it's always really difficult on the other side too to show them support. Like you and I talk about this.
Oh my God. Like how?
Yeah. I mean,
how do I support him when he's mountain biking? I can't mountain bike.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't like, I could try. Like, I don't want to die.
Like this weekend, you know, like Frank was like dealing with his car and like doing his car thing.
They're both
and I'm
like car enthusiasts.
Yeah. And I'm like, what do you want me to do with this? Like, I could just like sit here and watch you. And I'm like, wow, what is that thing? You know, like, I don't know. You know, like, I don't know. And I think too, you're pretty new in your marriage. You've been married for, it'll be 2 years in May, right?
No,
3 years in May.
Yeah.
Oh my God, time flies when you're having fun.
He's so cute. I love being married, but okay.
Yeah, but so this month it'll be 11 years that Frank and I have been married.
Shut up.
Which is crazy. But obviously in the beginning, like where you're still kind of in that honeymoon phase, like, you know, everybody is like so active in the relationship.
I like
it's so funny because
we still snuggle and like all the things.
Yeah, I mean, we still snuggle too, but like I think the effort is there. Like the effort is there where you're like still really want like
I want him to like me still.
Well, no, I don't even know how to describe it. And you guys like help me out. Like I don't know how to describe it. It's like the effort's there and like but you get to a point where you're just kind of like, all right, like I know you're still going to be here.
My God.
Like, I love you, but like, you're not going to get that mad at me about like, if I go horse show this weekend or like, if I go do this or if I want to do this or if like, I don't come out and watch you wash your car, you know, like, and he feels the same, right? We're kind of just like, okay, like you're good.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But like, we still have great times together. And I think it's so funny because like, everybody's like, that knows a relationship now, they look at it and judge it and they're like, what do you guys do together? I'm like, we used to do all kinds of shit when we were younger. We would have dinner parties. We would have big parties, like the pig roast thing.
No, every year,
You know, we would go to Braves games. We would camp. We go hunting, which I never liked, but whatever.
I think the older you get, whether you're in a relationship or not, the older you get, like I don't know, the less social.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe it's like that,
well, especially when you have this baby.
Well, you can't tell because of the sweatshirt, but yeah, it's like, and two, like, yeah, and it's like transitioning like that outside of the barn world to like not just a husband, but like friends. Like I have work friends and I have college friends and stuff like that. And they don't get the attention that they deserve from me. And I feel that. Like, I know that they are like, where did Alexis go? Like, she is like, poof, gone. And it's like, I've cried over it because I can't balance like my husband and what like he expects, not expects, that's like not the right word, but like the wife I want to be to him requires pretty full attention. But like these animals that I've built my life towards and I've worked towards and I financially like
you're in it.
I'm in it, like strapped to a chain to them. So it's like that, and it's so hard. It's so hard and it tears me in like 3 different places. There's like friends, husband, horses, and I don't know how to be the best of everything. And so sometimes I get a little anxious about it and I tend to shut down. But like to your point, like, I think the longer that you've known your friends or your husband or whatever, and the older you get, like their lives kind of evolve into like they're having kids or my husband's like, okay, like, you know, I don't really need to do all those social things, like go to the Braves games and do stuff like that or go to concerts. And so like kind of life evolves to where you're not disappointing each other as like a husband, wife or a friend and friend relationship anymore because it's evolving into less like social pressure.
Yeah. And I think too, like, don't get me wrong, there's still like push and pulls. Like, you know, I want to go away for our anniversary and he is like agoraphobic almost. Like he like doesn't like to leave the house. And I'm like, I'm love. Like now that all the horses are home and like I am very much more of a homebody now.
Yeah. True.
But so that's really helped our relationship a lot. But I also think like I want to get out. Like I want to do stuff. I want to like I travel all the time for work. Like I'm doing things all the time. So like I think we balance each other out in that way. But I want him to do what I want to do. Like I want you to want to come out with me. And he's like, well, I'm like, I stay home with you all the time. So like, how can you like get out?
Yeah.
You know, like, so, so that's, I think no matter what, like, even if it is less social, like, I think you're always going to have like push and pulls in a relationship for sure. But I think it's just different because you just understand each other on such a different level and what each other's needs are when you've been with somebody for so long.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, I mean, it's just different, but I also like cherish those times where you are now, where it's like, you know, you make so many memories together.
Yeah.
And you just do such fun things, and you're young, and, you know, so it's all good. I mean, it's every piece of the journey is good.
Yeah.
So, damn, that was a good one.
I mean, it's a good topic, but it's also stressful.
Is it? You still get stressed about it?
I get a little, like, it's been better.
What do you get stressed about?
I get stressed about letting people down.
Yeah.
Like letting him down, letting my animals down by not being for them, like being there for them. Like I have, you know, I have a green horse that needs to be ridden and taught something.
Yeah.
Or he's just going to be like 8 before I know it and not know anything. And then I have, you know, my beautiful Chocolatey who's, you know, broke and has been there, done that, and can show and walk in the ring and not see a jump before. But it's like, that's not fair for him to just sit in a stall all week and then me go horse show, or like him lose muscle because he's, you know, just sitting around, because I don't know. There's like, I feel very pulled in all these different directions, and I probably have more of a hard time and then I have my college friends, and then I have my work friends, and I've disappointed so many people.
Yeah.
And if you guys are listening, I'm really sorry. Like, it is something I deal with. Like, I do think about it. But I think having this little peanut is going to also be a new challenge.
100%. Jeez.
But
Cops are pulling out.
Yeah. But I will do everything to keep the horses alive and make it work. And, you know.
I think no matter what, like, you having that anxiety of letting people down, I don't know, maybe you just have to let enough people down just to stop caring about it, you know? Like, I totally understand what you're saying, and I think it's really hard as just an adult in general to just consistently, like, feel like you're doing enough, you know? And I think that, like, I went through a phase, and you know this phase, that when somebody consistently tries to tell you that it's you or you're not doing enough, and you are on your last thread, and you're like, I physically cannot give you any more. I cannot put any more effort in. I mean, I think that's maybe like a tipping point where you're just like, I have to do like self-preservation.
Yeah.
Like, I have to preserve my mental health, because like if I continuously think about everybody else, and we've talked about this before, where if you have people in your life that feel like their needs are prioritized over yours, and that they would rather you go through a mental like struggle trying to like keep you know, putting so much effort in towards the relationship.
Yeah.
I would rather you just, hey, call me when you can.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't want you to be stressed about this relationship.
Yeah.
This relationship, you know, I feel like needs to be something that comes naturally, but also like isn't a stress in your life. Like,
yeah.
That I feel like those are in my mind, like, those are the relationships that I only have. I do not have relationships that I feel like I consistently have to
like owe someone something,
or perform, or feel like, oh, well, you know, like they're going to give me shit about this.
Yeah.
Like, I've got to call them, or like whatever. I just can't, I physically and mentally cannot handle that.
And I think that's why, like, going back a little bit to the beginning where you were like, most of my friends are horse friends, is I think that like that there's a lot of understanding. Like when there are days when I don't talk to you and you're like, hey, like, call me when you can. And it'll be like 2 days later.
Yeah.
And I'm not like, oh shit, I didn't call her back, like whatever.
Yeah.
And you're just like nothing fazed you. You're like, it's fine. And then you like ghost when you go out of town for work.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, like, I'm not going to bother her while she's gone.
Yeah.
And then like the minute you're back, you're like right back on.
Yeah.
And I don't say like, bitch, why'd you ignore me while you were gone? Like it's not like, our lives are all too busy to be like that. And so, you know, a lot of my friends who I love dearly that are not horse involved also are like that. They both are like, they both know, like, they have families. I have a family. I have horses. You know, shit is going on constantly. So it is really nice to have, like, friends that do have their own things going on and understand.
Yeah.
And you can pick back up where you left off
100%.
without resentment.
Yeah.
But It's definitely a balancing act.
Always. It's always a balancing act. And I think that, like I said, I think just as you grow and change and you have all these things that happen in your life, I think that it's just, those relationships that are going to withstand, they're going to stick around. And then those ones that, I think anything that has expectations put on it is never going to last.
Yeah.
It's just never going to last, because the minute you start putting pressure on it, it'll just collapse in your hand.
Yeah.
It's just not, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
And I think that goes with horse relationships, like literally between you and your horse.
Yeah.
The relationships you have with your friends, your family, your husband, your wife, like whatever it is. So I just think that,
your barrier, your bet.
God, your barrier.
You have expectations and they don't meet them and you get mad, you're going to continuously lose. You are the loser by having expectations.
Yes. Against
your horse, against people, against work, against, whatever.
The farrier conversation is a little tough for me, but that's on for another day.
Yeah,
We've bored you guys enough for this episode, but truthfully, this is such a great topic. If you guys feel like you want to talk about it more, drop a comment.
Let us know how you guys deal with marriage and horses, friends, work, show, travel schedules,
It's all a lot.
Kids, somebody tell me, because I have a feeling it's going to be a rough start.
We haven't even broached though, because we don't have kids. Well, we have one in the oven.
But I don't know anything.
Yeah.
And my husband and I are both very active, me and horses and him, and literally everything.
He climbs literal mountains.
Ice climbing and motorcycles and whatever, etc.
Yeah.
So please give me some advice, because I honestly don't know what I'm getting into, but check back in a few months.
Yeah.
And I might.
Yeah. It's going to be great.
All right, guys. Comment, click,
subscribe.
Respond, whatever. What was that word you used earlier? Hot topic?
Hot take?
Hot take. Send us some hot takes.
Yeah, send us your hot takes.
Because I don't know what she's talking about, but I'm gonna Urban Dictionary it and see what it actually means.
Try to work on my posture too. Have good posture, guys.
Yeah. Okay. Bye. Till next week.
Bye. Well, friends, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Adult Amateurs Guidebook Podcast. We hope you enjoyed the discussion, as always, and be sure to like and subscribe for more real and authentic conversations about the struggles and triumphs of balancing life and horses. Until next time, cheers to adulting and happy riding, friends.